So I guess my passion for jewellery really began when I started belly dancing. I became interested in tribal style belly dance because of the layering of the costume, not only with different fabrics and textures, but also with the jewellery. The jewellery really inspired me to find out more about the cultures that the jewellery came from, because we would source jewellery from all over the world for our costuming, India, Afghanistan, and then looking at the culture and where it came from, and the fact that belly dancers in the past would have jewellery, and it was really like adding to their wealth, and it was about layering, and they would wear their wealth on their body. And I think too, they would hand it down from generation to generation, and I think that was really important because you have a piece of jewellery that really keeps you in touch with the past and where you came from. And when I met Scott, I became really interested in body jewellery as fashion and as decoration, but also to see that it was handmade as well, just like my belly dance pieces, which were made from metal, assorted metals in class and things like that. And then I was introduced to more natural materials like bone and horn and stone and things like that. And just knowing that maybe if I ever had a child, that I could hand this particular piece of jewellery down to future generations, and that would kind of start a new tradition.
So my passion for body piercing actually started with the first piercing I ever got. Having the idea that I would like this new aesthetic version of me, meeting a good piercer that took their time to talk to me, had eye contact, helped facilitate a good experience for me. Then I realized that actually months later, because I was so overwhelmed with the initial experience and how easy it actually was and empowering, but knowing later that I had drive to learn that trade and trained for over 1.5 years, and then be able to offer that, what made me so happy to other people, because I was willing and able as a piercer to try to provide the same kind of experience for other people. I know it's different for everybody, but to take that time out of critical detail to make sure that everything from the proper terminology, my approach, my eye contact, the volume that I'm speaking at, and that all goes together into building an experience, helped me identify a passion that's been my career for the last 15 years. And it's kind of also stemmed from a bit of research and experience throughout life with different perspectives, whether it's learning, reading about tribal roots with indigenous cultures all over the world and how they celebrate different parts of their life. I thought it was really interesting. In some cultures, people particularly get pierced when they hit puberty, and children that are becoming adults aren't at all scared of getting the piercings, because in their culture it's set up to the point where like, that's a reward you've got there. And I've seen some pretty intense in maybe the eyes of Western civilization, wow, that's an intense piercing, as they're smiling because they're like, I did it. I got to adulthood, and they understand that responsibility that will grow with them into adulthood needs to be extended to their direct community, you know, the rest of the other tribes that they live with in that area, and their family in general. And it's kind of moved into my career field. I can't really go, hey, I'm going to pierce your septum with a porcupine quill. But we could get into that later after the piercing's healed, but my job now is to work with aseptic techniques that use universal precautions, so we could actually utilize the concept of safety and making piercing safe, simple, and gentle, rather than that tribal aesthetic with a porcupine quill. The feel of the piercing actually starts when someone comes into the shop. We all eye up everybody and go like, do I like them, do I not like them? We do it everywhere, whether it's the grocery store, church, walking down the street. So that chemistry has to occur first, but when someone asks me about getting a piercing, we know we've got through that first hurdle. And we help develop an experience that starts with selecting jewelry, communicating, trying to put long-term perspective into it, like what can you wear at work, what are you going to wear in the years down the road, what's safe, what's functional. And then it moves into the piercing room after we've sterilized everything and work in an environment that's calm. I don't use that word relax, because relax makes you curl your toes right away. bit calm, cool, and comfortable is the approach we have, because I want to do everything I can for each client that I'm lucky enough to work on as if I was getting pierced myself. I want to take time, I want to have good communication, good eye contact, make sure we're on the same page. I like to put it in steps like an instruction manual, like a 4-step procedure, so people could identify each step of the procedure and go like, hey, he was honest with me, that was step 1, oh, that's step 2, oh, step 3 was easier than what I thought, wow, the last one we're done. And it works quite well because I work with people and not on people. Even if we feel a little rushed outside in the waiting area because the shop is really busy, there's no clock inside the piercing room. We're going to take time to facilitate the best experience that I'm capable of. And the overall general feel of the shop was to not be so closed to exactly one kind of peer group. I kind of will bring it up on my own experience. I've worked in tattoo shops that were overtly masculine with heavy metal all day long. It's kind of draining when you're really busy piercing and trying to communicate to people. And that might work really good for tattoo artists and some piercers, but I wanted to offer something that had more of a feminine twist. Meaning that it wasn't an all-black shop with red accents. It didn't reek of heavy metal. And again, not to demean heavy metal, there's a place for everything out there, but if we have something that's more calming and you come to a shop that you're listening to jazz at a low volume, and then maybe it's hip-hop, and then maybe it's reggae, it's less intimidating in my opinion. We like to have a more organic feel. You'll see a lot of earth tones in our shop, nothing really bright, nothing really dull. Everything's well lit, so you could take a peek at everything and see the features of the handcrafted jewelry. It's neat because with the carving, some of the lighting will help little shadows occur to make all the little carving detail kind of stand out. But something that was more inviting to our target market. They love jewelry and so do we. So we're going to do everything we can to facilitate a good service for them, even if that's tracking down a custom piece of jewelry that we don't stock. We do that quite often, and it's exciting for us to help put that special piece of jewelry in people's hands. We work with one vendor out of the United States called One Tribe. They have great sustainable practices. They take care of their vendors. They don't buy stones from companies that have bad politics going on, and can bring those custom drawings that people bring in and have them turned into a 3D piece of jewelry that just a couple months later can end up in their ears or their nostril.
I think for us, jewelry is really a celebration on many levels. For one, it's a celebration of art. It's something that you're wearing on your body, but you could easily frame it and put it on the wall and admire it as something that's handmade, and someone's heart and soul has gone into producing this piece. And the great thing is for me that you can wear it on your body, and it's functional art, as I like to tell people who come in the shop, and it's very special because there is some skill that's required to manufacture the jewelry. It's not just cut out of a mold, it's somebody sitting down and taking tools and working with a natural material to create something really beautiful and unique. The great thing about it too is they may have a whole set of pieces that are all the same design, but the great thing about the material is not only is each piece of material unique, whether it's different colors running through the material or different grains, it's also unique because of the very little differences in carving. It's very impossible to make something exactly the same. You'll even see in some of our pairs, they've matched a pair, but there's very slight differences there too. So the nice thing is that when someone buys a piece, it's something that's unique. You'll never see exactly that piece again. And I think too, wearing in your body something that's from nature. You can look at a rock or like a stone or a tree, and you know that that's where your jewelry came from. It's not a piece of plastic. It's something that's natural and was once a living, breathing thing. Even if it was just a tree or a horn from a water buffalo or something like that. They've passed on, but then you can still wear something in your body that was once alive, which is connecting you with the earth and with nature and the whole cycle of life, which I think is really beautiful.
everybody and anybody of every walk of life can celebrate body jewelry. Whether it's something small and 1 millimeter or something huge that they can only find at a handful of shops in the world because it's custom ordered. When a piercing's healed, you have a lot more options to what you could wear in it, and we want to have the community contribute to the concepts, ideas, and designs that they want to see in the store and wear in their piercings.